Evening. Our invitation song for this evening will be number 907, if you want to go ahead and mark that. That is number 907. And once you have that marked, if you want to turn in your Bible to Genesis chapter 1, it's Genesis chapter 1. Within our lives, it can often be hard to truly understand just how wonderful the world around us is. And not only just the world around us, but the whole entirety of the universe around us. See, our universe that God has created for us is truly and utterly majestic. It's wonderful and beautiful in a way that's almost indescribable. And as far as we know, it is absolutely massive and expansive. It is so large that it is almost impossible to comprehend just how large it is and how small we are compared to it. Just within our own solar system, if we were to put the sun as a basketball, our Earth would be probably about a grain of sand compared to that. And when we put these things in this perspective, to this scale, it can almost be terrifying to try to comprehend how small we are. But in truth, it should fill us with hope and wonder, especially when you consider the story of creation found in Genesis 1. If you please begin reading in verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. From the beginning, the earth, our home, is given significance over the heavens. Everything else created, our earth, this one little speck, is given so much greater significance over it. Now, if you will please jump down to verse 14 and continue reading. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light of the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. God set them in the firmament of the heavens, and gave light on the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. Within these 4 verses, we read the creations of some most important things to our earth. The sun, which is the source for all energy, and the moon, which gives the tides. And also, we read, "He made the stars also," in verse 16. The creation of the stars is relegated to a mere 5 words. This seems an incredible oversight to creation when you consider that over 5,000 stars are visible to us on an average night. So, if it's not the majority of the things in creation that take center stage within the story of creation, what does take the center stage? Well, of the 6 days of creation, 5 of them are directly in relation to the creation of the earth and things that are upon it. Why is our home given such importance when on the scale of the universe it is infinitesimal? The answer to this can be found in verse 26. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he had created him. Male and female he created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the seas, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." So much emphasis is put on the creation of the earth and that which resides on it because of us. We, the one thing made in the image of God, with the spirit and the ability to conquer death itself. We are why the earth is so important, and in comparison to the complexity of the human mind and spirit, the universe is a whisper, a nothing, a blip in the grand scheme of things. We, mankind, are the masterpiece of God's creation. But why then would God find it necessary to create such an awesome thing as the universe? In all fairness, I don't know. It is next to lunacy to try to understand the motivations of the Father, but I believe we can glean somewhat based off of God's answer to Job in Job 38:4. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? To what were its foundations fastened? Or who laid its cornerstone? And the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Or who shut in the sea with doors, when it burst forth and issued from the womb? When I made the clouds its garment, and thick darkness swaddling band. When I fixed my limit for it, and set bars and doors. When I said, this far you may come, but no farther. And here your proud ways must stop. Have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused the dawn to know its place? It is from my understanding of this, that God made the whole universe outside of what was necessary for the earth, to demonstrate his raw and immeasurable power, to show clearly and without protest the extent of his omnipotence, so that as men throughout time looked into the stars, they would see the handiwork of God and marvel at his majesty. That it would remind us to have humility, that we are not the masters of our own planet or our own universe, because we are so small in comparison to it, that to try to understand it, to try to have some manner of control over it, is just idiocy. It is God's and God's alone. God made the universe because he could demonstrate his power. But even as spectacular as the universe may very well be, it was still only created in a day. And we are promised something even more awe-inspiring, a kingdom made for us that's been prepared for over 2,000 years. That is almost 740,000 days, or 105,000 weeks of creation. Next chance you get, look at the model of the known universe. Look at how amazing and massive it is. Then consider it was all made in a week's time. How much more amazing will the kingdom of heaven be? And even more amazing, you have access to this kingdom. If you do not already, all you need to do is to be baptized for remission of sins, which we can do for you in this very building. And if you are already assured a place in this kingdom, but you have some trouble in your life that you wish to be resolved, we ask that if you have this need, or any at all, that you come forward as we stand and sing.